Cricket presents The Warm-Up. Hey everybody, I'm Neil Beasley. District play in full gear will cool your engines from last week and get you warmed up for this week. Boy, do we have some incredible district matchups here in Week 6. Let's preview some of them that could lead to district titles in the lineup. Let's start with 9-6A as Sachse visits Wylie East. Our own Professor Diggs likes to break down districts in tiers. Well, Sachse and East are in Tier 1 of this district, and all the rest of the teams nowhere in sight. So in essence, this Week 6 matchup should be for the district title, and this one should have all the fireworks. Let's start with Sachse. When you talk Mustangs football, you talk about Texas commit Khalil Lockett. The senior has 24 catches through 5 games, but always shows out in the biggest games. So expect some dynamic plays from the future Longhorn. Also, don't forget about running back Brendan Haygood, who already has 639 yards, so he's well on his way to 1,000. Wylie East has not lost in 4 games, but has also not played anyone as talented as Sachse. Michael Henderson is heading to Texas Tech as a safety, but the senior plays everywhere for the Raiders, from safety to running back to wide receiver. One player who often gets overlooked is quarterback Howard Fisher IV. Has over 800 yards and 11 touchdowns with no picks through the first 4 games. Looking forward to this one. It'll be at Wylie ISD Stadium. Over at Aledo, the Bearcats are taking on Denton Ryan in a big-time 3-5A Division I game. Aledo started the season losing to a Denton ISD school in Guyer. You don't want that to happen again, especially against a district foe. Bearcats will be looking to get their star receiver, Kadon Finley, to open up the field for the running game. After that first loss, Aledo has reeled off 4 straight wins, with the last 3 being in dominating fashion. Ryan is 4-0, and it's been their defense that has stuck it to a lot of people behind linebacker Dylan Arkansas. Coach Dave Hennigan has another one of his sons at quarterback, that's Quinn, but they'll need to get things rolling against one of the state's best. Up at Collins Complex, Denton Guyer will be hosting Coppell in a 5-6A tilt. Coppell is undefeated, while Guyer is 3-1, having taken a loss to North Crowley a couple weeks ago. But the Wildcats bounced back with a 44-36 victory over Flower Mound. Oklahoma Sooner-bound Kevin Sperry threw for 275 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Jaguars. Sterling Schneider has been the leading rusher for Guyer. They've needed that since star receiver Corbin Glasgow went down with an injury. Coppell runs their offense through Baylor commit Edward Griffin. 954 yards passing and 13 touchdowns while rushing for another 3. Griffin is the proven leader for those Cowboys. Defensively, Weston Polk has been making plays for Coppell for a couple years now and thrives for big games just like this. A lot of tough competition in this district, but thus far, these two are the top dogs, so it should be a dandy on Friday night.
Freeflation leaves economists baffled. Getting more for less? It's true for those who switch to Cricket and get a free Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Our Inside High School insider, Matt Diggs, gives us his thoughts on some of the key matchups in Week 6 in the Picks.
Week 7 marks the downhill point of the regular season, and wins start to become more crucial for teams in the playoff hunt. First game we're going to look at this week is Jesuit versus Richardson Pierce. 2 high-powered offenses led by 2 amazing quarterbacks in Charlie Peters and Presley Harper. Richardson Pierce has been great at times for a half, but they've also had a couple of games where you just have a little bit of a head-scratcher, whereas Jesuit really hasn't put together a full game quite yet. I think with all the playmakers that Richardson Pierce has, I like them as a favorite in this game. I think they're going to win this game by 2 or 3 scores. A big game, one of 2 big games in Denton ISD this week, is Coppell versus Denton Guyer. Edward Griffin looked amazing this past week with 5 touchdowns, but more for Coppell against Hebron. They looked like they figured out a running game. Josh Locke was incredible, 12 carries for over 120 yards. Kevin Sperry had his best game at Denton Guyer. Sterling Schneider looked really good running the rock for Denton Guyer, but Denton Guyer had 25 penalties for over 200 yards against Denton Guyer. You cannot play play that level of undisciplined football against Coppell. I think Coppell is going to win this game, and perhaps win this game convincingly. Next game we're going to look at is Highland Park versus Red Oak. This game is at Red Oak, so I think that's a little bit of an advantage for them. But Highland Park has been doing it on the defensive side of the ball. Buck Randall has been throwing it around. He has really looked great as a young sophomore for Highland Park. James Lancaster is one of a cadre of players running the ball for Highland Park. Billy Middleton has taken over at quarterback, and he's looked great. But defensively, there's been some questions that I don't have for Highland Park that I do have for Red Oak. I think Highland Park is going to go into Billy Goodloe Stadium and win a big game that some would call the district championship. Another game that some might believe is for a district championship is Melissa versus Lovejoy. The last couple of years, this has been Game of the Week material, and there's no doubt that this will be Game of the Week material again this week and this season. Jacob Janicek has looked great the last couple of weeks, and having 2 weeks to get ready for Melissa, whereas Melissa has really tried to figure out who they are, and they got some injuries right now. The offensive line and the wide receivers look a little bit lack of depth. And I think Lovejoy, as they continue on, they're just going to get better and better. Dalen McCutcheon should have a big game. But look for the freshman Bear Tabor to do something for Melissa. Noah Schuback's got to improve on his 5 of 15 game, but I think Lovejoy is going to win this game by 1 or 2 scores. I don't think we're going to see the 28-0 shutout like we saw last year. And that leads us to one game that some are calling the game of the week across the state. Denton Geyer versus Aledo. Quinn Hennigan threw for 7 touchdowns this past week. Braden Mussett is figuring out his role at wide receiver, but Aledo's got the defense, and they've got a lot of depth on the offensive side of the ball as well. Ray Gilroy is looking great. Caden Finley is really stepping in as the wide receiver of note. Gavin Beard is able to get the ball out to his wide receivers. If Aledo can avoid the 3 turnovers that has plagued them in the past, I think they're going to win a hard-fought game at home against Denton Ryan. This is the Professor Matt Diggs for the Week 7 picks.
We caught up with another big-time athlete on the gridiron in this week's Recruiting Trail.
Xavier Ukponu, defensive lineman 2025. Just a place that I can be developed, a place where I can have an opportunity to get on the field early and just showcase my ability. I just want to be used. I just want to be using my talents, like to display my talents. Like I'm usually told I'm a run stopper, so I'm just going to a place that can showcase that. On the field, I'm dominant. I like to use my hands. I'm really good with my hands. I play with good leverage, and I have a lot of power in my hand. And off the field, I'm just chill. I like to just watch movies and just hang out with my friends and just chill. I'm just a funny guy. Yeah, I'm funny. Just finish my English 4 online class, and then just be dominant on the field, win a state championship, win the district, just play with my brothers and just go out fighting. Just being a good football player, a good teammate, a good leader, and just people talking about like I was always there for them, and yeah, I give a helping hand.
Cricket Wireless has an offer that's going to blow up your group chat. 4 lines for only $25 per month each with nationwide 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Our producer, Ward Fasold, caught up with Melissa head coach Matt Nally to talk about the Cardinals' huge trip to Lovejoy Friday in this week's Media Day segment.
All right, I'm with head coach Matt Nally of Melissa. Melissa off to a nice start since that first game. You found different ways to win. You can show you can crush teams. You show you can do stuff in a defensive struggle like you did last week at Banana. What have you learned about your team in those first 5 games?
Man, that's a great question. I would say that we lean on each other. Whatever that, if it's our defense, we're going to lean on our defense. If it's our offense, we're going to lean on our offense. Even special teams this year, we're going to lean on our special teams, but we're going to lean on each other. That's probably the biggest takeaway that I have through our first 5 ball games. We got a really close-knit team, and it's just a blessing every day to come to work with them and to watch them grind. And we got a great coaching staff as well. So watching these guys come together day by day and stack days is such a blessing to be around. But in all reality, it's probably that piece of it. We're going to lean on each other.
Well, you guys have the bye coming up, not this week, but next week. And you have two extremely difficult district games before then. You got through the first test, but the next one is Lovejoy. Obviously, they have the new coach in Todd Dodge. You remember what happened last year. I'm sure that's still in your chest there. What's it going to take all? I mean, it's not going to be a defensive struggle, I don't think, next week, just the way that those teams play. Talk to me about what you expect out of this one with the Leopards.
Well, first off, you just got to feel blessed. And I mean, you're playing probably, one of the greatest high school football coaches to ever coach. So you got to feel blessed to be on the field with someone like that. It hasn't turned into a rivalry yet with Lovejoy, but what a great opponent. They've changed, obviously, coaching staffs, philosophies offensively and philosophies defensively and special teams wise. So it's an awesome opportunity for us to see where we're at, just because of the fact of it's still so early in the season. This is our 4th district ball game that we're about to play. So, I mean, it gives us a good place to see where we're at, and it's a good thing, too, like you get to play a team like that is only going to prepare you for late November football and December football, and that's what it's really about. It's not about beating Lovejoy or anything like that. It's about week by week getting better and better, so when we get into the playoffs, when it really matters, it's to make sure that we're at our best point. So, but Lovejoy is a great team. They're coached extremely well. It'll be a really good challenge for us, but a challenge that I'm excited about.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining me, Coach. We'll definitely have a camera up there this Friday night.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Good luck the rest of the way. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey, that'll do it for today's show. Thanks for joining us, and we leave you with Professor Diggs' DFW rankings. Be sure to get out there and catch some excellent Texas high school football this weekend.